Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to talk about a subject that, if it's something that you've experienced, can be a very painful thing to process and heal from. And that is the deep pain that comes with sibling betrayal. Now, from time to time on this channel, you're going to hear me talk about betrayal. It is, I don't know, I think maybe the most painful thing emotionally to process and heal from, because it's coming from generally the people who are the closest to you or people you trust. So from time to time, I will talk about that on this channel. But today I wanted to specifically talk about the betrayal and the pain that comes from it when it is involving a sibling. Because I think sibling betrayal is very different from betrayal from other types of people. Now, this is something I've personally experienced and have had to do a lot of really deep, private, and personal healing work around this subject. But I was talking with someone this morning who's currently processing this, and I said, this is definitely going to be today's topic. And for a moment, I sort of brought myself back into that pain and some of the feelings that sort of come up when you're going through the betrayal from a sibling, because it's so hard to understand and it's so painful and can often be the most unpredictable. You can almost see it happening with other people in your life. And there's all kinds of betrayal. There's betrayal from significant others. There's betrayal from friends. There's betrayal from coworkers. There's betrayal from, managers. You can be betrayed by your own kids. There's all sorts of different types of betrayals, and depending on who it is, it will create a different experience for you. But I think that the betrayal from a sibling can often be the most painful. And so here's sort of my take on why. If you think about it, if you get betrayed by, say, a significant other, it's very likely that you have lived a good majority of your life, or at least you've gotten through your entire childhood in all likelihood, right? Into your maybe early 20s, could be late 20s for a lot of people, before you even met this person, right? But when you look at a sibling, one of two things happened unless you're a twin. And that is, they're either older than you, and so when you were born, you don't even know life without the sibling, right? Or you were young enough, right? 1, 2, 3, maybe a little older, but young enough that you still probably don't even remember life without them, right? So you have all of this life history together. And you have this bond with a sibling that no one else can have with you. And that is that you were probably, in all likelihood, you have the exact same parents. You were raised in the same house. You had to withstand the same programming from your parents. You have many childhood memories together and bonds and, stories that you can reminisce about and share and laugh about that, say, you can't do with just anybody. It's like that special bond that you have with a sibling. And if you've grown up in, say, a dysfunctional household, sometimes that bond can be like really tight because you almost like depended on your siblings for your like own survival. You had to either, maybe your household was abusive and your sibling was like your only source of support because you guys were both going through it, and who else can you turn to? Or maybe there was a household with addictions, alcoholism, addictions, or you had a household where you grew up with mental illness, personality disorders, right? So, maybe you have a parent with bipolar disorder, or you have like a narcissist for a parent. Like that can make your bond even stronger because you're surviving your childhood. You're not just living through your childhood like the blessed few, let's be honest, who grew up and maybe they didn't have like a dysfunctional family. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you had a dysfunctional family. So you probably get what I mean. There's like a tighter bond because you had to survive every day based on your perception of your own life. But it's like a bond you can only have with a sibling. You can't share that with a friend. You don't have that same kind of bond with the love of your life. You don't have that type of bond with anybody else, only a sibling, because you go back to the beginning with these people. So when something happens in your life and you feel the stab wounds in your back from this sibling for whatever reason it is. Now, I'm not talking about somebody who's been an awful person or a drug addict, an alcoholic. Like, I'm not talking about you, for example, being awful and have hurt people in your life, like a sibling who's now turning their back on you because of your behaviors, okay? Now, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you essentially haven't done anything wrong. You've always loved this person or these people, and something happened where they turned against you. So whether that was at the hands of narcissistic slandering, where they were a flying monkey and bought the lies that somebody else was spreading about you and then turned on you. That's like one example. Or maybe they were never really a very well-functioning person. You love them. They were somebody that you always had a bond with. You survived a difficult childhood together, but this sibling was just what I would jokingly refer to as a soup sandwich, right? Like they're a mess for the most part. And in their own twisted dysfunction, went down a road that was full of self-absorbed selfishness, ego. I'm important. It's all about me. And you're just here to meet my needs. And as long as you meet my needs when I want my needs met, then everything's good. But then as soon as you either see the truth for what it is or put yourself first, then this sibling sticks the knife in your back. Now, there's other examples, but there's like two totally different examples, right? But But the end result is the same. It's pain. It's hurt. It's hard for me to even do this video right now because even though I'm healed from this and I'm like good with it, like actually feel like Spirit did me a favor. But you might be watching this video and you're not where I am. You're in pain over this. And I get it because this is so hurtful. It's the last person you would ever expect after all you've been through together that would just turn on you so easily because of either something someone said or because they're just so self-absorbed that the relationship between you just wasn't what you thought it was. And to come to grips with that is so painful. And so if you're suffering with this, I just want you to know that you're not alone because there are going to be, who knows ultimately how many people will see this video, but I hope it's thousands and thousands of people who ultimately will see this video and say, yes, I know that pain. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to go through the process. And the first thing you have to do is acknowledge that this is painful and that this is hurtful and that there's nothing wrong with you for feeling this way. And you're going to go through these like stages of grief. There's like the disbelief stage. Like, I can't believe this happened stage. I can't believe they did that to me stage. And then there's going to be the anger stage. You're going to be pissed off. You're going to be furious. You're going to be like, I can't believe they did this to me. It's okay. It's just the stage of the grief. Eventually, you're going to get to the acceptance stage of this. And I think it's easier to be in the acceptance stage of this when you understand. At least this is what I believe about how it works with spirit, which is we are programmed to believe that our families are the be-all and end-all. And your family is not the be-all and end-all. Your family in this lifetime is just a special contract where you agreed to play certain roles with each other. And what I believe is probably over a couple of martinis before you were incarnated, you sat there with a contract with your future sibling, and did a toast to, well, you're going to stab me in the back when I'm X number of 8 years old, Judas. You know what I mean? And we'll laugh about it on the other side, but you're going to help me grow from this. This is probably what happens on the other side, okay? And when you get and grasp that your relationships with your family are nothing more than these contracts, and what happens is when you fulfill the contract, you did what was supposed to happen in this life, in that relationship, and then it ends. And it's supposed to, and that's okay. I think a lot of the time the pain comes from this programming where we think, oh, family's blood, and we're supposed to stick together till the end, and this, that, and the other thing, and that's a bunch of bullshit because it's a contract. And so people fulfill their contracts and you can move on with your life when you get that we're all here playing a role and this person's betrayal is actually going to put me in a place where I have to go through a healing process so that I can grow spiritually and then step into my power and be who I'm supposed to be, they're actually doing me a favor. Now, I know it's twisted. It's twisted, right? It's only twisted if you try to look at it from the 3D perspective and you aren't looking at this from a higher perspective. See, I'm always going to try to give you the higher perspective here on this channel. We're not going to be trying to stay down here in the 3D because this is not what we're supposed to be doing here. We're supposed to be growing. But the fact of the matter is, when you get stabbed in the back by a sibling, it still really hurts. It's still really painful. But when you can work through some of that pain and work through some of those stages of grief, the way you can more easily come to the acceptance stage is to just realize it's all part of the contract. It's all part of the game. It's all part of the way it works when you come here. So that's all I got. I feel you. I've been there. Lots of you've been here. I'd love to see some supportive comments for anybody that's gone through this pain and what maybe you did to kind of overcome it. I hope you liked the video. Please hit the like button, share it, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know, if there's anybody that you think would benefit from this video, please send it their way. And I'm going to catch you next time.